Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the world premiere Lost in Translation podcast. My name is Jared Marketing. I'll be your host today. We got a lot to talk about, but I ain't gonna hold you long. Let's go. Listen, wherever you are, let's hear what you got to say. Name, age, location, where at. Let's see it. How goes it, good people? How goes it? Welcome to the inaugural, the world premiere of Lost in Translation. I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Jared Bargety. A lot of you guys may know me from different places around these YouTube streets, more famously from Kevin Samuels' chat room, to be exact. I was a moderator for Kevin for a long time. And one of the things that I noticed is that we had a conversation a while back that stopped when Kevin left. There's a few people that picked up the baton, but like Kevin always said, if you want to have somebody to tell your story, make sure you tell it right. So he always believed in black male media. And when he passed away, he kind of left a hole. And here's my thing. We have to make sure we continue the conversation and in good faith. And a lot of times people don't always want to be forthright. So over here on this channel, everybody here is welcome. You know what I mean? All opinions are welcome. We're going to hear you out. We're not going to run you off. We're not going to use sign language and all this other foolishness. But one of the things that I noticed when Kevin passed away was a lot of rigmarole. A lot of people said some things about him that was not accurate. So being that I was there from the beginning, I wanted to make sure that we set the record straight. A lot of people said that he was a misogynist or he was mean or, you know what I mean? He just did whatever he wanted to do. He was brash. But my thing is you can't make that kind of move without stepping on a few toes. So I wanted to make sure that we're kind of gentle with people. You know what I mean? I got a church background. I can't be stepping on people's toes. So the conversations that we're going to have over here are going to be a little bit different. We're going to make sure that everybody is heard. And I wanted to make sure that we get a grasp for what Kevin was doing. Kevin was probably pretty much like trying to scare people straight. You know what I mean? I want a rich man. I want this. I want that. Oh, okay. Yeah. What did you ever ask what you wanted to do for that person? You know, and that's one of the things we got to look at. We got to make sure we get better over time. So with that being said, there's a lot of few people. Today is when this is just an inaugural debut, so to speak, to make sure that we get all the kinks worked out and everything. So every Friday night at 8:30, we're going to meet here. We're going to have the conversation. We're going to continue the conversation. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that we recognize everybody in the chat. There's a few people on the recognized. Smile, I see you. You know what I mean? Love and life. Rest in peace to the Godfather, you doggone right. That was a good man. There's a side of Kevin a lot of people missed. I wanted to share a little bit of that with you guys because everybody wanted to make it seem like Kevin hated women when Kevin probably loved women more than y'all realize. He just had a way about himself that a lot of people didn't really understand. So after watching him for so many years, you know, in the chat, watching it, and a lot of people missed some of the moments that they never really gave Kevin his flowers for. So I found a clip that I wanted to make sure that I share with you guys. And then after that, I'm going to invite some people to come up. If you guys want to talk to me, that's fine. I'm not going to bite you. You know what I mean? I'm a pretty decent guy. I got a church background. I can't be out here clowning my mama be watching. So here's a video that I want to share with you guys of Kevin, of a young lady. This is from his, just to give you a point of reference. This is from his 1 million subscriber, 1 million subscriber party. And there was this one particular lady, and it was like caller after caller. And they were telling Kevin, thank you. Kevin was one of those type of people who really didn't want the spotlight for real, for real. He was very, very humble, and a lot of people didn't realize that. So I wanted to make sure that we give him his due. A lot of people, you know, right after he passed away, you know, it was a little money grab, do what you got to do. In these YouTube streets, you know, you got to do what you got to do. But I wanted to make sure I gave him his flowers the right way. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you this moment in his to give people an idea of who he really was. He was really a good man, and I wanted to share this with you guys. So I want you guys to buckle up, and I'm going to go ahead and share this with you. Give me just a second. I want to be struggle streaming, right, as they say. So here we go. Give me just a moment.
You ready? Hi, Joy. Wave. Hello, Joy.
Hello. Oh my gosh, I'm on.
How are you?
Yeah, I just want to really quickly say thank you so much. I started watching you July last year in the middle of COVID, and
you're a long time rider.
And last year I was in a dark place. I was overweight, depressed, lonely, not sure what got me in the situation that I was. I didn't know what actions to take. I just felt stuck. And then YouTube recommended you, and I started watching. And at first I was resistant. You know, I was fighting it. I was like, you know, what is he talking about? But I knew there was something there. And so I kept watching. And in the last year, I have lost 40 pounds listening to you. I have got therapy. I moved to a new city. I wear dresses on Fridays and the weekends. I have a dress on now. I don't do the wigs anymore. I don't do the nails anymore. I don't do the lashes anymore. Just you really you hit the bullseye, and I so much want to thank you for that. And I've watched you grow. I've watched your YouTube channel grow. I admire what you're doing, and I just want to encourage you to keep going because you have made a difference in my life. And now I'm excited about what my love life's going to be like next. But I think I'm moving in the right direction.
There you go. I appreciate it. Keep doing you. Bye.
Thank you.
Look at him, y'all. He getting choked up.
My best friend knows this is really uncomfortable for me.
Right.
I usually deflect praise and accolades. But I don't know how you can sit back and hear some of the joy in these women's voices and say that there's something going wrong over here. I just whoo. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. Listen, that's just one of the things I wanted to show y'all, man. I wanted to make sure that you guys understood who he really was. You know what I mean? He really wanted to help people. But here's the thing, he's no longer here. So rest in peace to Godfather. You know what I mean? Never get a chance to say goodbye to him that day that he passed away, but I wanted to make sure that we send him out right and people understood exactly who he was. So with that being said, we're going to have to make sure that we continue the conversation in good faith. You know what I mean? So I dropped the link in the chat if you guys want to come up. I want to give you guys a little bit of background. Not only Kevin was the first person to give me a wrench, you know what I mean? And from there, it's been on and popping. And I've been a moderator for a lot of YouTube channels, and I've been a witness to a lot of conversations. And one of the things that I notice is that a lot of people want certain things. And my thing is this: it's okay to want things, but you want to make sure that you work towards them as well. And people were saying what they wanted from other people, but nobody really said what they were willing to give. You know, it's like a situation where you always wanting to take from somebody, but nobody wanted to give somebody. You know what I mean? And I come from a religious background, and I know for a fact that it is more blessed to give than it is to receive. And one of the things I wanted to make sure that people get right is to make sure you start understanding who people really are instead of trying to get people to do certain things for you. We got to start having honest conversations. And over here, what's up, Sir Hale? I see you, my brother. Yeah, this is the inaugural. We're going to start having some real conversations, and I dropped the link in the chat if you guys want to come up. But going forward, we got to start taking better care of each other. You know what I mean? I can't be around here, beating people up and telling people that they average at best. But here's the thing. We want to make sure that we give people the tools so they can be their best. And I love one of the things that Kevin said was that you want to try to be your very best each and every day. You know what I mean? And to me, that is what sparked me from getting off the sidelines to actually getting inside the game. Because there are some things that we as a people have to get back to. And one of the ways that we can do that is making sure we're all playing from the same level playing field. And what I mean by that is the religious aspect. Everybody knows the rules. But here's the problem. Some people like to use religion as a weapon to wield to beat people up. You know what I mean? That's not the purpose of why Jesus came. You know what I'm saying? The purpose of why Jesus came so he can give us life. You know what I mean? And I tell people, if you ever think about the Bible, it really only boils down to two things. That's time and love. That's it. You know what I mean? How long are you going to be here? You know what I mean? Jesus died so we can have an eternity. And he also died because he loved us. So we have to get back to wielding love instead of hate. You know what I mean? And one of the things we have to start doing is making sure that we make sure our souls prosper as well. You know, it's one thing for you to be high value. It's one thing for you to be a hit squad and a Henry and making your money and getting paid. But my thing is, who did you help along the way? You know what I mean? Whose life did you change? So those are some of the things I wanted to make sure that we have a level playing field. Now, tonight, it's not going to be long. I wanted to thank a few people for coming up. I wanted to thank Sir Hale. Thank you for coming out, sir. You've always been supporting people. If you notice, I've been watching Sir Hale for quite a while, and he's been doing the doggone thing. And I wanted to make sure I give him his flowers while he's still here. He's having real conversations over on his channels. If you guys haven't had an opportunity, make sure you go over and subscribe to his channel. And we're going to make sure that we take care of this brother because he's doing great work over there. And I wanted to make sure that we continue doing the same thing over here. So with that being said, I wanted to make sure that we give a shout out to a lot of the people in the chat. Goal of license abundance. That's right. That's right. We want to make sure that we prosper as well. Because once we start getting back to the basics of treating each other well and actually listening to other people, you know, and why they want. My major thing is this. I always have to say, know your why. You know what I mean? Know why it is you wake up every morning. Know why it is that you sacrifice everything that you sacrifice for. You know what I mean? Because the better you're in tune with your why, the more you will actually be able to get in touch with what you need to do. You'll be able to formulate a plan. My thing is this. One of the tenets of being a high value man is making sure that you surround yourself with people who are going in the same direction. You know what I mean? Being useful to the group. You know what I mean? How can I be of service? You can't be a leader if you're not a servant. Leaders actually are some of the world's greatest servants. They don't get out and say, hey, you do this for me. They always ask you, hey, what can I do for you? And in return, what leaders do is they learn how to deal with people. I've been a supervisor for all my adult life, almost 20 years. You know what I mean? In the bank, and I've heard stories. I've sat down with people, and I know that people are hurting. You know what I mean? And sometimes I don't always have a lot of time to talk to everybody individually, but the time that I do have, I make sure I pay attention. You know what I mean? When you're talking to somebody, make sure that you're focused and you're listening to what they're saying, because there's always something that's a little bit lost in translation, which is the name of my podcast. It took me a long time to come up with the name for this thing, y'all. It really did. And one of the things I've always noticed is that there's always something there that people don't always talk about. I call that the negative space. You know what I mean? It's the space in between, the words that are in between what's said. You know what I mean? The meanings, that's what in between is said. And a lot of times I like to take a look at things from a different angle, because somewhere there's the truth in there. You know what I mean? Some people may be too embarrassed to be comfortable, or you may not have actually had an opportunity to develop the emotional capital built up so you can be vulnerable. And a lot of times men are not taught to be vulnerable. You know what I mean? That's one of the things we have to start working on. You know what I mean? I got to say, I don't have to cheat you to beat you. You know what I mean? I can still be vulnerable and still protect myself at the same time. You know what I mean? Because I know who I am, and I know who belongs to me, and I know who I belong to. So that's my whole thing. I want to make sure everybody understands that you have a place in this world. You just have to figure out what it is. And along the way, you're going to meet some people that are going to be here for a season. You're going to meet some people that's going to be here for a lifetime. Some people ain't going to always be here, because when you get elevated, everybody can't go with you. I'm a witness to that. But in the meantime, take the time out to really talk to people from time to time and let them listen. You know what I mean? Your soul will prosper. You know what I mean? Your soul will prosper. But that's one of the things I want to do. I think I pinned the link up. If you guys want to, just click on that. You can come up if you want to. But in the meantime, this is just to make sure that we work out all the kinks and to make sure we get everything taken care of. But I wanted to share that with you guys, with Kevin, to make sure that let you guys know his heart was in the right place. And a lot of times people wanted to get their little 5 minutes of fame in and let them do what it is. That's the reason why I took a year off to reevaluate, to make sure that this was something I was really wanting to do. Now, I've been doing this for the past 2 years on Facebook and on different Christian singles groups. And we have had some conversations. And I'll tell you, the conversations that we have over there and the conversations we have over YouTube, some of them are the same, and some of them are different. And the reason why I say it's different, because everybody operates differently based upon their programming. You know what I mean? Over in the Christian side, everybody, pretty much knows the rules. You don't do this, you don't do that. Everybody's agreed upon. But in these YouTube streets, people do what they want to do. You know what I mean? And people get crushed, having babies all over the place. That ain't exactly what we do on the side, but it does happen. And we want to make sure that we give people the tools that they need to survive those moments where they're up against what they really want. So the devil will come dressed up and what you like. You got to know the difference. Is this something that I really want? You know what I'm saying? So my thing is this: a lot of times we want to make sure that we take the time out, and be a better people. You know what I mean? It starts with your home. Starts with your home. You know what I mean? Everybody in your house should take care of them. And to be honest, to let you guys know, to give you what's going on in the background a little bit, how this whole conversation got started was a young man that was at a college. I remember this like it was yesterday. It was maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. He had graduated law school, and he said, "I was the prize." And then the women said, "How dare you? The audacity of you to say that you are the prize." And then at that time, men, really didn't get to shine like that. It was more of the women saying, "I go to college, I got my degree, blah, 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 blah." So when this guy said it, it kind of rubbed people the wrong way. But over time, that conversation grew. And at the same time, that was right around the time when Kevin showed up. Now, to give y'all some background, when Kevin came up, he was the fragrance guy. You know what I mean? Fragrance, footwear, frames, you know what I'm saying? That type of thing. And he picked up on this particular conversation where, there was a level of guy that people didn't know existed. You know what I mean? It was the high value, the high value guys, like guys out here doing the doggone thing. So people start doing the research, and it's come to find out guys are actually doing pretty good. They just don't boast about it. Guys go to work. They don't have time to, be on TV beating their chest. They are, getting it, making things happen. So when that conversation jumped off, it was like all over the place. It was from chat room to video, and it blew up. And, Kevin was like, yeah, this guy's out here doing it. So once these guys got themselves together, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, where we going to find some wives at that's going to be worth dealing with? And that was the catalyst to how it all started. That is the catalyst how it all started. People started trying to, have a conversation. What do you mean? You don't want to do this and you want to settle for this and settle for that. And from there it took off. Y'all know the rest of the story. If you've been around these YouTube streets long enough, you'll know. But people wanted to, just say, how dare you? And just men needed a voice. We have to make sure that we build our plane while it flies. So that's the main reason for this particular broadcast today. You know what I mean? The black male media needs to have a voice. I don't know if y'all saw this or not, but there was this guy who was on this dating show or whatever. I forgot the name of it. If you guys know what I'm talking about, where the guy was saying that he didn't want to date a single mom, and then the host was like, how dare you say that, this, that, and the other. And the guy was like, she was like, you came from a single mom. And he was like, well, just because I came from a single mom doesn't mean I want to have a family of my own. That's my preferred thing. And she kept shaming him. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, how come men don't have a show like that to keep things on the level? You know what I mean? And I hate to see a man get shouted down and cowered down for believing in what he believes in. You know what I mean? Women have their preferences. How come he can't have his preference? And the way that she did it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, which led me to this podcast. I was like, you know what? If I'm going to build it, I'm going to go ahead and build it to make sure that we have a voice, to make sure that we have a say. You know what I mean? Because if you have one-sided conversations, you really don't make any progress. You really don't. And you got people like Shahrazad Ali. She's been saying this since the 80s, man, since the 90s. People shouted her down. They're still shouting her down. My thing is, how do we get better? We need a set of rules. You know what I mean? We need to go back to the drawing board and start over from scratch, from fresh. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is this, this conversation is going to go on further. But tonight, I just wanted to introduce myself to give you guys a little bit about where I came from and what it's all about. So my thing is this: if you guys want to hit the link, it's in the chat. I pinned it to the top. But if not, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. This is just a test run, a dry run, just to make sure that everything works. Just to make sure everything works. Let me see. Sir Hale, everybody. Let's see. Yeah, we got everybody in here. So in the meantime, when you get an opportunity, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the share button, hit subscribe. And in the meantime, I'm going to wrap everything up. If there be no one else, as the pastor would say, if there be no else, we're going to leave you out with Sweet Brother Rance Allen. I love some Sweet Brother Rance. Sweet Brother Rance, come on in and lead us up out of here.
Give me my theme music.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank you so much. Yeah. This has been the inaugural Lost in Translation podcast. Thank you guys for coming out. I want you to take a little something with you. If you want anything bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time and your peace and your sleep for it, and if all that you dream and scheme is about it and life seems useless and worthless without it, if you go out and sweat for it, fret for it, plan for it, lose all your terror of the opposition for it, if you simply go after the thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity. If neither cold poverty, famine, or gall, sickness, or pain, or body or brain can keep you away from the thing that you want. If dogged and grim, you besiege and beset it, and with the help of Almighty God, you get it. This has been another episode of Lost in Translation podcast. My name is Jared. And it has truly been a pleasure with you guys tonight. Enjoy yourselves. And if you don't know God, get to know him. Be sweet and pray.